Peter, there's a dispute recently between a developer and an off-the-plan buyer. Tell us about that.
Well, those disputes concern the Oracle, the iconic development at Broadbeach, where South Sky, an Econ subsidiary, developed a multi-tower resort. Controversially, they installed a hotel chain as the management right holder, and a number of buyers sought to terminate their contracts on that ground.
So that was the cause for the dispute, the change in name?
Well, it was in relation to those disputes. The buyers failed to get out of their contracts there on that ground, but that decision is under appeal. More recently, there's been a decision where the seller sued the buyer for the difference between the contract price and a valuation they obtained as to its current value.
It would reflect a falling market, Peter?
Absolutely. The differential is recorded on the court papers at 34%, so that's a huge difference between what they paid and what the December 2011 valuation is.
The valuation, was that a contentious issue in this particular case?
Well, usually developers resell the product and sue for the difference between the resale price and the contract price. But in this case, the developer, or rather its receivers, decided not to do that, but rather to obtain a valuation and sue for the difference between the valuation and the contract price. So one wonders how solid the market or how weak the market is when they're not prepared to actually accept any resale offers for the same particular unit.
My understanding too is in the court that valuation was sealed. Can you explain why that would happen?
Well, the court ordered that the valuation be placed in a sealed envelope and not be opened except with an order of a Supreme Court judge. So there must be some very market sensitive information in that valuation.
Do you anticipate there's likely to be a move to have that made more public?
Well, we can understand, I think, that how commercially sensitive that information is, so I don't think there'd be any prospect of having the valuation made public, but certainly it does signal how weak the demand is for this sort of product, particularly on the Gold Coast.
The impact of this action on sales off the plan, do you anticipate that make it more difficult?
Well, the off-the-plan investment cycle is exactly that, a cycle. So we're going through a correction phase at the moment. Buyers need to be aware that corrections do occur, and certainly when people bought at the height of the market, this is proof of the pudding that the market can collapse as it has done.
We have heard of an oversupply of stock, particularly off the plan on the Gold Coast. Is this the end result of that, do you think?
Well, it's possibly as a result of oversupply, possibly as a result of high prices, probably a combination of both.
For buyers off the plan, has it become even more critical for them to consult with a solicitor before they commit?
Well, every eventuality needs to be considered at contract time. So legal advice is important to work through what are the possibilities with the investment and what can happen in a changing market. So legal advice, good legal advice, and financial advice are imperative.